Our next speaker is James Ashton. James is an experienced journalist, a commentator, and a media consultant. He was formerly executive editor and city editor of the London Evening Standard and independent newspapers, and has also written for the Sunday Times, Daily Mail, and the Scotsman. He was educated at St. Andrews and at City University. He writes brilliant, insightful pieces that we all read all the time. And it's a great privilege to introduce him here to introduce the next panel. James.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, after that, I suppose I should try to be either brilliant or insightful. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Lady Barbara. This afternoon's session is all about technology, a glimpse of the recent past and also a gaze into the future. We want to explore how disruption and innovation can go hand in hand. Joining me on stage are leaders from 3 companies that didn't exist a generation ago. If you add up the ages of Facebook, Airbnb, and Alibaba, the total is still fewer years than Microsoft has been in existence. We'll also hear from Microsoft about how they are changing and remaining just as relevant as ever to the digital revolution. The pace of change in the technology world is extraordinary. Take Twitter, 10 years old and counting, but it might not see its 11th birthday as an independent company as takeover talk swirls around it. These days, the switch between winners and losers can be counted in months, not decades, as it was for the industrial giants of the past. But how have these new corporate leaders progressed from startups to giant upstarts? And for the broader business community, are they here to eat your lunch, or by collaborating, are they going to put food on the table for you and your shareholders? They'll tell us. We'll also hear from Martha Lane Fox, who wants the UK to take better advantage of modern digital technologies and close the digital deficit. Of course, that deficit exists at work just as it does at home. First of all, we turn to Facebook. Born in 2004, more than 60% of the UK population is estimated to have a Facebook account. The company has more than 1.1 billion daily active users around the world. It's a platform on the move. In the last quarter, mobile advertising revenue made up 84% of Facebook's advertising income. Steve Hatch must be doing a great job for them, or it could be the IoD effect, possibly. When he agreed to speak at our event today, he was Facebook's managing director for the UK and Ireland, a post he took up in 2014. He's since been promoted. He's now the regional director for Northern Europe. Steve's background is in advertising. He worked at Young & Rubicam, Omnicom, and WPP, where his final role was as chief executive of MEC. Please join me in welcoming him to the stage.
Good afternoon. Changes in technology have created a world with more opportunity than ever before. Opportunities for British business to look way beyond their street, their town, and even their country, to take advantage of new markets created by a revolution in connectivity in every part of the world. Thanks to these changes, there's never been a better time to start a business. In fact, I would say there's never been a better time to be in business. What are these changes? What do they mean? And how did they happen? And how can we position ourselves to flourish in this globally connected world? I want to start in Middlesbrough with someone I find an inspiration, a woman called Kelly Wright. Kelly Wright is a fighter with a gift for retail and the wherewithal to make things happen. At 17, Kelly, pregnant with her first child, left school with just a handful of qualifications, but a determination to give her daughter the best possible life. She had a great eye for what young girls wanted to wear and how they wanted clothes to make them feel. And then Kelly realized she could connect this knowledge with an audience far beyond the horizons of her hometown. Kelly started by selling on eBay, honing her skills. Then she found a supplier in China and created a Facebook page. Before long, over 50,000 people were connected to her company on Facebook, and sales were booming. Kelly moved into a proper office and diversified her product line to include trends like clip-on hair extensions. She started paying for adverts using Facebook video so she could reach an even larger audience of people who were interested in her business. In less than a year, Kelly saw a 10-fold increase in monthly revenue, growing turnover to £3 million. And this year, Kelly, just 26 years old, sold her business to a private equity backer. Right now, she's hard at work building a second business in cosmetics. And although she's back to just 2 employees and a big idea, I really wouldn't bet against her doing it all over again. Nobody knows more about thriving in a changing world than Kelly Wright. She shows us what's possible in a modern British economy that's open and connected, and Kelly is just the tip of the iceberg. We announced this morning that more than 4 million businesses all over the world are actively advertising on Facebook. And in the UK, is in the top 5 markets in terms of year-on-year growth, and the only European market that's in that top 5. These are businesses of every shape, size, and scale, and I know many of you are represented here today. Now, I spend my time speaking to businesses up and down the country, and I'm inspired every day by their stories of how they're using Facebook to grow. But how did we get here? What has changed so radically in the last few years to create this opportunity? Well, the answer is surprisingly simple. It can be found in your pocket, your purse, your briefcase, on your desk, and next to your bed. It's your phone. The mobile phone is the most personal and powerful piece of technology we've ever known. It's changing the way we shop, talk, play, and relax, and it's rewired Britain with breathtaking speed. It's meant I got to watch Great British Bake Off's Pastry Week on the train this morning. And mobile's actually added an extra 2 hours to the amount of time we spend doing stuff every day. And that means watching stuff, browsing stuff, and buying stuff. And when it comes to mobile, we buy a lot of stuff. The UK is now the largest mobile commerce market in Europe. We spend £1 million every 35 minutes on our phones. When I'm standing here talking to you today, £400,000 worth of sales in Britain will take place on mobile phones. And within the next decade, it's estimated that this will reach over 50 billion a year. But it's not the technology that matters. The mobile revolution we're witnessing today is driven by people, by our desire to connect with each other, to discover and share new things and experiences. And that's why at Facebook, we put people at the center of everything we do. It's why we want to make the world more open and more connected. And if that sounds like a grand ambition, here are some grand numbers to go with it. So far, we've connected 1.75 billion people around the world, including 39 million of us right here in the UK. Today, half the population will use Facebook, and 90% of us will do it on a mobile device. This mobile revolution gives us all the power to dream bigger because it levels the playing field. What would have needed venture backing, investment, warehouse, office space, expensive infrastructure just to get started 15 years ago can today be achieved with a mobile phone and a great idea. Just ask Kelly Wright. But consider also that 15 years ago, Kelly's opportunity would have been confined to her street, her town, and if she was lucky, perhaps her country. Now, every business can connect with customers in new countries effortlessly via Facebook. We have a saying at Facebook I've always loved. We have it printed on posters and around our offices. What would you do if you weren't afraid? 10 years ago, international expansion was beyond the reach of all but the largest or most determined of businesses. Today, any business in the UK can connect with customers around the world, and the opportunity is unprecedented in scale and of huge value. Research shows us 86% of UK trade and investment clients have said that selling goods abroad leads to a level of growth that wouldn't have otherwise been possible. And companies that do this become 35% more productive in the first year alone. Right now, today, the opportunity for growth mobile has created is not only the 31 people that use Facebook every day in this country, but the over 300 million people from around the world who are connected to at least one business right here in the UK on Facebook. This means furniture crafted in Manchester creates a home in Manhattan. Jewelry made in Reading is treasured in Riyadh, and an app developed in Cambridge is being downloaded in Copenhagen. And when business flourishes, Facebook grows. We may have been founded in a Harvard dorm 13 years ago by our CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, but we've taken on a distinctly British flavor. We now employ over 2,000 people in the UK and Ireland, from software engineers to product specialists, marketing, sales, and more. We're investing in the skills and talent that exist in this country to build unmanned aircraft that fly at 60,000 feet using the same power output as just 3 hairdryers. We're unlocking the empathy that virtual reality creates and building next-generation enterprise platforms for all businesses. And we're only just getting started. Don't think for a second that the mobile revolution has peaked. The pace of change is still accelerating. TV took over half a century to reach 1 billion households. The mobile phone did it in 5 years. It took Facebook nearly 9 years to get to 1 billion users. WhatsApp has done it in less than 7. Instagram has added its last 300 million users quicker than the first 100 million. The next generation of British success stories are being born out of this revolution. In a mobile world, the winners will be established companies that act quickly to take advantage of their scale and size, as well as young disruptors that are using newly lowered barriers to entry to gain a foothold in previously inaccessible markets. Of course, it won't be easy. We've heard today how Brexit leaves us with hard decisions in the years ahead. Will we open up to the world or turn our back on it? Will we strive to be more connected or less? Will we go confidently into the future? What would you do if you weren't afraid? I hope we embrace the remarkable opportunities that come from being connected. New markets and technologies and ideas can only come from playing a full part in the global knowledge economy that mobile is creating. Big or small, the winners in this global economy will have one thing in common. They will be the companies, the entrepreneurs or movements that start with people. Technology only matters when it empowers people and connects them to the things that they love. This is the one thing that will never change. Focus on people and good things follow. Because all of us, you, me, your business, my business, our country, are more successful when we're connected. My promise to you is that every day we at Facebook will go to work determined to find new ways to help you, new tools to bring you success by connecting you to the rest of the world. We'll go on expanding horizons and creating a positive difference to our extraordinary country. Thank you.
I think we've just got time for a couple of questions, Steve.
Sure.
Really interested in what you're saying. I mean, do you really see that one of the big roles now for Facebook is to encourage entrepreneurs?
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, when you look at the small and medium business sector and entrepreneurs, 99% of private companies are this. It's responsible for 48% of employment within this country. And actually, we think at Facebook we have such a strong role in connecting people to new customers and existing ones. And we know that the difference between success or failure is the ability to grow. So we're taking that responsibility, helping companies work. In fact, just today we have a Boost Your Business conference in the Northeast, in Liverpool. And alongside that, we've engaged in a new innovation, which is She Means Business, helping female entrepreneurs get started.
More Kellys.
More Kellys. Yeah, we know that 1 in 10 women want to start a business, so giving them the tools to do so. And according to the work that came out from the Northwest Chamber of Commerce, if just 1/5 of those do, that's an extra $1 billion in commerce.
You said it wasn't the technology that matters, it's the people. So I'm interested in what do you think the barrier is for the entrepreneurs, the people who haven't discovered you yet as a route to market?
Yeah, well, I'd be interested in finding that out myself. That's kind of one of the kind of pieces that we're here. But I think to some extent it's about understanding first and foremost, as I mentioned there, just how central and important mobile has become in our lives. You know, it is creating terrific opportunities to open up into new markets, and Facebook has a key role to play in that.
And as you look across the sort of the markets that you look after now, I mean, how do you measure that ambition in the UK versus elsewhere? I mean, it seems like, is this still the place to be?
Oh, for sure. I mean, the amount of talent, skills, and creativity that's occurring here, it's one of the reasons why we've made this such a focus for innovation for us in Facebook.
And just finally, talking about how Facebook has developed, I made the point about how startups sort of keep the upstart ethos, if you like. You joined Facebook, I suppose, relatively late in its evolution. What do you see from the inside? I mean, how is it still innovating?
Right, how do we keep fast?
How do you keep doing it, yeah?
Yeah, and well, there are a couple of things that I think make a major difference. You know, one is Mark Zuckerberg, our CEO. Still to this day, every Friday, there is a 10 a.m. all hands where any question is answered. So there's a role of communication. Sheryl Sandberg, our CEO, she is a great lover of what we call hard conversations. And I mean, all businesses, even the ones that fail, like they'll know, somebody in there knew if something wasn't working or something wasn't going right, but maybe that conversation didn't get had. And I've seen Sheryl Sandberg ask groups of us, one at a time, okay, who's had a hard conversation this week? And what's great is the number of hands goes up and up and up. So having those conversations that enable us to move fast and keep going. And then the third piece that I would say is actually Facebook itself. You know, the connectivity we have in our business has enabled us to make sure we flatten out structures, ideas come from the best possible sources, including something like Safety Check, you know, an extraordinary product that actually came from a young female 20-year-old engineer who just had this notion that we could do a good job in this area.
Okay, great. Steve, thanks so much for your time. Thanks very much.
Great. Thank you.